Today, I want to take a step back and go over the true basics of budgeting. Many people have realized that they need to develop a plan for their money. So you are telling your money what to do instead of your bank account telling you you don't have any more money. So bear with me today. I'm going to take you all the way through setting up a monthly budget. And in the description box below, I have linked this budgeting form that I'm using along with an exhaustive list of all of the things that you need to think about when you are creating your very first budget. Hey everybody, and welcome back to Lining Up Ducks. If this is your first time with us, my name is Rachel. Lining Up Ducks is all things family budgeting and living as a family in a smaller space to live well below your means. This is one video in a budgeting basics series that I have started, so make sure to like this video and subscribe to our channel so you don't miss any of the basic budgeting videos. Hey everybody, this form I have for you in the description box below as a free printable, just to kind of help you through this process. And you'll notice at the top of this page, I have it labeled a spending plan. Truly, you're just making a plan as to how to spend your money. And I know from working with people before that sometimes the word budget in a marriage can be more like a feeling of restriction, and one partner or another can really, it's kind of like a dirty word in the house. So we've decided to label this a spending plan, and that is because you are truly just making a plan on how to spend your money. Doing a budget for the very first time can be really frustrating, but don't get paralyzed by trying to make your budget perfect. Do as much as you can, as best you can. Just remember that any plan is better than no plan at all. Start there, but just start. So these particular examples that I'm using today are going to be just kind of nice round numbers. If you want to see what our family of 6 spends on a monthly basis, please check out one of our cash stuffing videos, and I will link one above here and in the description box below. We are assuming for this spending plan that we have a typical family of 4. Mom, dad that both work, and 2 kids. One kid is in grade school and one kid is in daycare. So those are kind of the expenses that we're going to be looking at. Okay, so for the purposes of this, we're going to use 2 incomes. So it's a 2-income household. You are going to make $2,000 per month to take home, and your spouse is going to make $2,000 per month take home. And that gives us a total take-home pay of $4,000 per month. Now, this take-home pay assumes you have already paid your taxes and your insurance. Okay, so we're going to assume you're getting paid on the 1st and the 3rd week of the month, both of you. You both get paid on the same pay cycle. So you'll get $1,000 here and $1,000 here. Y'all, I apologize. I do not have beautiful handwriting, but I will try. So you're going to bring home $2,000 per pay period. So this is what we're going to have to work with, okay? If you're doing a budget because you're having trouble or having too much month at the end of your money, or you've lost your job, this is the best way to start your budget. Think of it like a house. If you don't have enough money coming into your house, focus first on shelter, food, transportation, and clothing. And then you'll prioritize every other expense you have after these 4. If this is your very first time creating a budget, you're going to do your expenses first. When I say expenses, I mean something with a due date, something that you are going to get in trouble if you do not pay the amount. So your rent, your utilities, your phone bill, your internet, your cable, if that's something that you use. Alimony would be one, and child support would be one as well. So make sure to include those here, all of those things. So those are the things that are going to be listed in the bills section of your budget. It's very helpful when you're making your spending plan for every month for you to have your bills in due date order, but just get everything on paper, and when you do your first month, then you can put them in due date order. So first we have our rent, It's due on the 1st, and that is $850. Then we have our daycare. Keep in mind we have one child in grammar school and one child in daycare. So that is also due on the 1st, and that is $600 a month. Then we have our internet that is due on the 5th, and that is $55 per month. Next, we have our water that is due on the 10th, and that's $25 per month. Then on the 12th, we have our car payment. Now, I'm assuming this is a typical American household that has a car payment and student loans and credit cards. If you don't have those, I am so proud of you. But for the purposes of this, we'll go ahead and assume you do have some debts. And the car payment is $175 per month. Then on the 15th, we have our cell phone, and that is $80 a month. On the 17th, we have our credit card payment, and that is $65 a month. Now, this is going to be your minimum payment. When we get down to the end and we see how much money we have left over, if you're wanting to focus on paying off debt, that's when you'll add to this amount. On the 20th, we have our power bill due, and that is $150. On the Netflix is due on the 25th. That's $12. Student loans are due on the 28th, and that is $200. And then your car insurance is due on the 30th, and that is $100 per month. Okay, these are the expenses for the purposes of this example. Next thing you're gonna do is add up your total for the month. Okay, 2312. $2,312. So this is a very common arrangement as far as what's due when on bills. So let's just say we're going to pay everything in its entirety on its due date. So we have $2,000, and we wanted to pay $850 here, and then $600 here, $55 there, $25 there, $175 here, and $80 there. That doesn't give you a whole lot of money left over for all of the rest of your expenses that you have in this particular pay period, because you're going to have food, you're going to have gas, you're going to have all of those other things that you need for your four walls of your house in this pay period, and that's not enough money to stretch it. So what we're going to do is we're going to split these amounts through the pay periods. So $850 divided by 2, we're going to save $425 the first week, and $425 the second week, the second pay period, for these bills. So your daycare would be $300 and $300. Always round up. 55 divided by 2 is going to be 27.5. So you always round up to the next number up, so it would be 28. And then 25 is going to be 13. 175 for your car payment is going to be, I can do some of this math in my head, but not all of it, is 87.5, so it's going to be 88. And then your 15th would be 40 for each. So let's just take the first pay period as an example. So we had $215 left out of our pay period when we took out everything in its entirety. Now, if we are just looking at the first week, the first of the month bills, you have $2,000 minus $425 minus $300 minus $28 minus $13 minus $88 minus $40. You're going to have $1,100 left to work with. So that's a much better balance to your budget. Separating your bills gives you a lot more control over your expenses. So let's continue on. We got 65 divided by 2 is going to be 33 per pay period. And then 150 divided by 2 is 75 per pay period. 12 is going to be 6 per pay period. 200 is 100 per pay period. And then 100 is 50 per pay period. Y'all, I was doing good on my handwriting, and now it stinks. Okay, So because we rounded up, it's going to be a little bit different here. So it's 45 plus 300 plus 28 plus 13 plus 88 plus 40 plus 33 plus 75 plus 6 plus 100 plus 50. So that is going to be $1,158 per pay period. The next section is going to be for cash envelopes. I teach a cash budgeting method because that's what works best for our family. If you're one of those people that cash kind of runs through your fingers like water and you can't seem to track it as well, just know yourself and know your spouse, if you have a spouse, really well. And you can actually set up a cash envelope system in a separate checking account. Monitor it and catalog it like a cash envelope system, but with no cash. Let me know in the comments below if that's something you might be interested in seeing. I can totally do that for you. We are just a family that when I have a debit card in my hand, somehow it doesn't feel like money. I spend way less money when we're actually doing cash. What we're gonna use this section for is your variable expenses. And those are expenses like your gasoline, food, public transportation, diapers, if you have a baby. The things that go in this section are needs for your household that come along on a monthly basis. Well, I would say needs or wants for a household that come along on a monthly basis and don't have particular due dates, but you kind of really need them in your budget. So the first expense we're gonna do is one of our 4 walls, which is going to be your gas. And that's going to be, there's no due date here, so we're just going to kind of mark through this because we don't have a due date, but that's going to be $100 per month for both you and your spouse. Even though we have a cash budget, we actually have a separate bank account for gasoline because, let's get real, I have 4 small children still in car seats, and getting everybody out of the car seat and going into the gas station to pay cash would be an absolute nightmare every time I had to get gasoline. So we have just a separate bank account for our gas, and it works as a non-cash cash envelope for us. Next is groceries. If you don't know what a good grocery budget may be for your family, I'm gonna link the government website below. It's actually a really good website that gives a spectrum of low-cost groceries per family and expensive groceries per family, and that'll help you kind of determine based on the area that you live in. I know like groceries are much more expensive in certain areas of the country, so that'll give you a good idea of what a good grocery budget would be for your family. For this example, we're gonna do $400 per month. Next, we're gonna have diapers. We have 1 baby still in diapers. That's gonna be $60 per month. Then we have restaurants, because let's get real, every mama needs an easy button sometimes. This mama especially. So that's $100 per month. All right, this next category, you're gonna be like, what is that? But it is oops money. This one single solitary category is the saving grace of any spending plan. If you have a zero-based budget like we do, this is your leeway in your budget. And we have $100 per month there. And how we do ours, because we do cash envelopes, is I get $25 per pay period in my wallet, and my husband gets $25 per pay period in his wallet. Oops money, we keep our oops money in cash. We used to keep it in our checking account, and it just seemed to run like water through our fingers. Like I said, a debit card and I do not get along very well. So we keep them in cash, and that has totally been our saving grace. I go into this in more detail in my 5 keys to success on a cash budget video, and I will link that above. I'm in the description box below. It's awesome. All right, next is pets. So if you have any pets, you're gonna need a budget for them. It's $40 a month, and then you need household expenses. Now, yours will be more if you have a home that you own. This example, we're renting, so we only may have $50 in house expenses every month. That's going to be anything you want for the house, like decorations wise, or if you need like a picture hanging kit or something like that, or a tool or anything, that's what that's going to be. Family fun money, and that's going to be $40 per month. Then we have personal money. This is another one that is incredibly important. If you are having money fights in your marriage, this is one way to alleviate those. Sit down with your spouse and talk to them about how much they feel like they truly need to feel not deprived, for lack of a better word. Like they can go out to lunch if they want to. They can go buy nail polish if they want to. They can go buy a shirt or whatever. They can do those things if they want to. And this absolutely right here, my husband and I have been married 16 years, and we have not had a money fight in 15 years because of this one single category. And I promise you, I'm not lying. So every pay period, give yourself and your spouse some personal money. And this is no questions asked. They can spend it on what they want. You can spend yours on what you want. You can save it. You can do whatever you want with it. And that is absolutely the saving grace of many couples' budgets. So this is going to be it for our kind of monthly expense cash envelopes. This is $40 per pay period. So it's $80 per month. So let's see what our total is here. Okay, $1,050. Okay, that's like. Now, with the cash envelopes, we are going to break these up per pay period because you need grocery money every pay period. You need gas money every pay period. We're getting paid in the first and the third week. So in the first week, we need $50 in gas money, and in the third week, we need $50 in gas money. Groceries, we need $200 in the first week and $200 in the second week. Diapers, you need $30 in the first week, $30 in the third week. So this would be 50 and 50. Restaurants, money, 55. Goodness, I'm talking and I'm writing and I'm not doing both correctly. Okay, so money, $50 per pay period. Pets is $20 per pay period. We have a rabbit. If you have a big dog, this is going to be a much larger expense. House money is $25 per pay period. Family fund is $20 per pay period. And personal money is $40 for each of you per pay period. All right, so per pay period, this amount ends up being $525 per pay period. Okay, now let's take a look at our sinking funds. Me saying the word sinking funds may not mean anything to you, but let me explain. A sinking fund is any expense that you have that comes semi-annually or quarterly, or it's kind of an annual expense or a holiday. It's some expense in your year that you know is coming, that if you save the money all along the way, you're not going to have a big hit to your budget when that comes along. So for example, our life insurance is due quarterly, mine and my husband's. It's $310 per quarter for each of us. Not for each of us, excuse me, it's $310 per quarter for both of us. If I didn't plan for that as a sinking fund in our budget and roughly save $100 per month in our budget for that, that would be an absolutely huge dent in our available money for that particular month if I hadn't planned for it. Let's look at a few examples of sinking funds that you might have in your budget. So have a goal in mind of what you want. So the first one we're going to do is school supplies. And I would also include in here any registration fees that you have for school. You have registration fees for daycare, so that's something that's going to come along about the same time. So the due date, we are going to have due dates on these. The due date for this one would be, let's say, August 1st. The amount due is more like a goal for this, and that's going to be $150 for school supplies. So the next thing that we do for this is we count up how many pay periods we have until that event. So now is roughly, so this is my annual calendar, and it's got all of my due dates in it. It's got all of our pay dates in it. So let's see, our next pay date is April the 22nd. So how many pay dates do we have until August 1st? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. We'll have 8 pay periods until August the 1st. So I'm going to take $150 and divide it by 8 pay periods. I need to save $18.75 or $19 per pay period. So we're going to put a $19 in the first week and a $19 in the third week. Next one is going to be kids' clothes. And this one is what I call a perpetual sinking fund. So this is a sinking fund that doesn't really have a specific end date. You're going to want to save for every single pay period of the year. So this is a perpetual sinking fund, and we're going to save $300 for spending on clothes for the kids for the entire year. In this example, we get paid 26 pay periods a year, so we'll take 300 and divide it by 26. That's going to be $11.5 or $12 per pay period. The next one is Christmas. It comes around every single year on December the 25th. But let's say you want to be finished with your Christmas shopping by 12/15. We want to save per year $600 for Christmas money. I'll be glad to go into more detail about how we come up with our own personal Christmas budget, but the basics is list out everybody that you have to buy gifts for in your family or friends and assign each of them a budget of how much you think that you are going to spend for them for that particular year for Christmas. Add that up, add a little bit extra to it. Check out my 10 things you forgot to save for your Christmas budget video. I'll link that one up here and down in the description box below. It's a super useful video, and that amount due is $600 for this particular example. So let's see how many pay periods we have until our December 15th cutoff. So we're gonna have, here's our next pay period. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17 pay periods before our cutoff of when we want to be done Christmas shopping. We're going to take our $600 Christmas budget and divide that by 17. And that's going to give us $35 per pay period, but 36 rounding up. Y'all, I just realized I have stamps all over my arm from my kids stamping on my arm yesterday. They didn't come off in the shower. Lovely. 36. Okay, next on our list is going to be just general gifts. So birthdays, anniversaries, if you do teacher gifts, anything kind of along those lines. That's going to be another one of those perpetual envelopes because you're pretty much going to have those expenses come up all year long, but we want a $250 goal for that envelope. If you have a whole bunch of birthdays in one particular part of the year, you may want to divide this up by and front load it if you have a bunch of birthdays at the beginning of the year, or, you know, if you can follow kind of what I mean. So let's take $250 divided by 26 pay periods is, we're going to save $10 per pay period. Okay. And then the next one is something to look at, like your licenses for your car, your tags, repairs, things like that. So I separate these in my budget, but for this budget, we're just gonna lump them all together and do tags / car repairs. And that's gonna be $1,000. And that's another perpetual envelope. If you did just your car tags, so for example, my car tags are due in May and they're about $200. So if I just did a car tag envelope, I needed to have them done by May 31st, so I would need to divide that by 3. So I would need to save a good solid portion of that. But let's say that you're planning in advance and you're not gonna be, I have planned in advance, but let's say this is a plan in advance. So we're gonna save $1,000 for the year, and we're gonna divide that by 26 pay periods. It's gonna be $38. Now, if you wanna round that up to 40, you can. It makes it easy in your budget, but let's just say 39 because that's what it is. This number needs to be bigger or smaller depending on the age of your vehicle. Next is life insurance. That is going to be due quarterly, so that's another perpetual envelope. It's due every single quarter, and let's say it's $500 for the year. So you're going to be $500 divided by 26 pay periods is roughly $20 that you need to save per pay period. Let's say Amazon is your next one. I am putting this in here as a reminder because guess who forgot it this year? This chick right here. I forgot Amazon, and it was a $128 hit to our budget that month. So I'm putting it in here so you won't forget. If mine's due next March the 15th, I have 26 pay periods in a year, and that's just 2 pay periods shy, so I'm gonna divide mine by 24 pay periods. So, 128 divided by 24 pay periods is gonna be roughly $6 per pay period. And then we've got medical care. Now, this is not going to be your actual premiums. In this example, our premiums are already deducted out of our gross income and it's reflected in our net pay. This is going to be your copays, prescriptions, anything that is a out-of-pocket expense for medical. On a family of 4, we're gonna say it is $1,200. Ours is way higher than that. Ours wouldn't fit into this budget. This is also a perpetual envelope, but say for example, you wanna have this $1,200 saved up by January the 1st. So you have all of your deductibles saved before the 1st of next year. You can do it that way, or you can do it as a perpetual envelope. Let's use this one as January 1st. So let's say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18 payments, 18 pay periods. So $1,200 divided by 18 is $66 per pay period, and that's 67 to round up. Okay, next on the list is for clothes for you and your spouse. You and clothes, me, and let's say you're gonna each get $200 per year for clothes. Now keep in mind, you're also getting personal money. So in our budget, we don't get clothes money, we only use our personal money. But my husband is lobbying to change that. very, very heavily lobbying to change that. He likes clothes. I am the person that they're very functional for me, and that's about it. $200 for each of you, and that's gonna be another perpetual sinking fund. So $200 divided by 26 pay periods is roughly $8 per pay period for each of you. And now the last one on the list is Halloween. You may also want to include Easter, like we have 4 girls, so Easter may be one you want to include. If you do vacation savings, vacation may be one you want to include. Just a few ideas that you might go for. All right, so you're gonna save $100 for Halloween, and that is going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, let's say 13 pay periods to do it at the beginning of October. So $100 divided by 13 is going to be $8 per pay period. Okay, so these are our sinking funds for this example. We don't need to add up the annual amounts. That's just an FYI because that's not going to be a monthly total. So we're just going to add up the per pay period total. 19 plus 12 plus 36 plus 10 plus 39 plus 20 plus 6 plus 67 plus 8 plus 8 plus 8. Okay, this is $233 per pay period that we're going to need. And that we just multiply it by 2 for a monthly figure because we're going to have a monthly figure down here. So we're going to say $233 per pay period. Let's take a look at our spending plan in its entirety. You're wanting to do a zero-based budget, so you want each pay period to come to $0. Your income minus your bills, minus your cash envelopes, and your sinking funds equals 0. And the reason why is if you have any money left over and it doesn't come down to 0, that money is just gonna disappear like magic. Now, because we're doing a per pay period budget, I'm gonna actually add up our pay periods first to see actually how much over or under we are and how much we need to move around in our spending plan. So we have $2,000, $4,000 total monthly income, $2,000 per pay period. Now this will be more if you're in a 3 pay period month. But like I said, those never tend to actually end up as extra checks because you still have bills to pay. Okay, so your bills total for the first pay period is $11.58, and we're gonna do those as negative numbers, and it'll be the same as the third week total. That is 1158. Okay, 1158. There we go. Hello. Rachel's having problems. And then our cash envelopes total for the first week is $525. And for the third week is $525. I'm gonna get that right eventually, probably after this video is over. And then our first week sinking funds total is $233. And our third week sinking funds total is $233. So let's see how much we have left per pay period. So we have $2,000 minus $1,158 minus $525 minus $233. We have $84 per pay period left to spend. The reason why I did this on a pay period basis is because we rounded these numbers up. So the actual amounts for the sinking funds and things that we divided by 26 pay periods is going to kind of throw that off a little bit. But I will show you. So you're going to have 164 here to spend. Actually. So that's what you need to put back into this plan. So if you're paying off debt, or if you are saving or tithing or whatever is important for you and your family, that's what you're going to work back into your budget. Now, what do you do if this is a negative number? Let's say we are minus 164 here, that we have done our spending plan and we have spent $164 too much in our month. Check out my cash stuffing video that says not enough money, because we actually had that happen one month when my husband was changing jobs, so you can see how we handled it in our personal budget. But what you're going to have to do is you're going to have to take a hard look at your sinking funds and your cash envelopes, and these are fixed expenses. But take a good look at these variable expenses and see what you can cut, maybe temporarily. Are you house poor? Is this rent payment too high, considering you also have daycare? Is it too high for the season of life that you're in? Lining Up Ducks, we promote living in a small space as a family to live well within your means and have more available income to do the things that you want and need to do in your budget. Take a good hard look at whether moving to a different apartment, a smaller space, would be better for y'all, and it would free up some more money in your budget. If I have skipped anything that you really wanted to see or you have questions, I'm very responsive in my comments, so please make sure to leave a comment below and I will address each question as it comes up. If I have the same question a lot, I'll do another video and try to explain that more. I hope this helped. Definitely check out those extra videos that I have listed in the description box below, because they really are going to add to this and help you come up with the figures that you need. That's it, everybody. I hope this is a blessing to you and your family and your finances. If you are curious how our family of 6 budgets, I share all of our numbers with you in our bi-weekly cash stuffing videos, so you see our paycheck and everything we spend or save. Thanks so much for watching, everybody. We'll see you next time.